Hi, I'm Harman. In this presentation, I'll share our work on sensible AI, which reimagines interpretability and explainability using sensemaking theory. When thinking about helping people understand AI and ML, here are the big questions that have been studied so far. First, why should we care about this problem? For this, evidence from industry and academic research shows that unchecked use of AI and ML can cause significant harm. Second, what can we do about this problem? Here, ML researchers have developed several interpretability approaches that explain how a model makes its decisions. And third, how should we design solutions for this problem? Here, insights from the social sciences have helped by extrapolating from how people explain things to each other. But the important question that we've missed so far is, where's the who in all this? We're building all these approaches and tools, but we know very little about how people use them. In our work, we propose a shift from improving explanations to understanding how humans make sense of complex and sometimes conflicting information. Here's a high-level conceptualization of the role of interpretability from DARPA, which says that a successful approach helps us answer the following questions about the model. The question that isn't clear in this conceptualization is, what about who the explanations are intended for? To answer this question, we use Weick's sense-making theory to understand relevant factors about how people make sense of something. These include things about the individual and their environmental, social, and organizational context. I'll go over two properties in this presentation. Weick notes that sense-making starts with the sense-maker and what influences their identity. People want to feel positive about themselves, both individually and when they think about their audience. For interpretability, this means that given multiple explanations, people will internalize the ones that support their identity in positive ways. Consider this example where Sharon and Avery both post content to a platform, and some of their posts are flagged for removal. Let's say they're given the same explanation for why this happened. Sharon might think that her political affiliation is why her post was removed, whereas Avery might focus on the content type as the explanation. For this next property, Weick notes that people are never searching for accurate understanding of something. Rather, sense-making is all about a plausible and coherent story. For interpretability, this means that given plausible explanations for a prediction, people are not inclined to search for the accurate one. Consider a radiologist tasked with reading chest radiographs to determine if a patient has COVID-19. They have help from a classification software which also provides these saliency maps to explain its reasoning. Seeing the lung marker here might convince the radiologist that the model is always reasonable, but say that they were not immediately convinced and looked at more cases. Now they notice that these lateral markers are also being used for prediction. The radiologist is still looking for a plausible story. Perhaps the patient was coughing and could not stay still when the radiograph was being captured. That would explain why the radiograph has more lateral markers for a COVID-positive patient. In reality, the model is relying on spurious correlations. Sensemaking isn't really a solution for how to understand AI and ML. It simply tells us these properties of human cognition that we need to account for. So how do we do that? Luckily, Weick and his colleagues provide some direction on this. They observed sense-making in organizations that have successfully avoided catastrophes despite operating in high-risk environments. These are organizations like healthcare and air traffic control systems, naval aircraft carriers, and nuclear power plants. Based on the principles of these organizations, we propose sensible AI design guidelines. Things like seamful design, where the goal is to highlight complexities in design rather than making it seamless, or adversarial design, where the goal is to promote productive dissensus so that someone viewing the outputs might catch a potential failure. I started this presentation off with the question, where's the who in all this work on interpretability and explainability? Here's how we've answered it. We translated environmental, social, and organizational factors relevant for human cognition from Weick's sense-making theory to human-machine context. And we propose design guidelines for a sensible AI which accounts for human cognition. Thank you.